What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball. So last year I did a couple of videos on training mode, some training mode tips, things to help you when you're in the lab. Of course, you can practice combos and touch of deaths and all those things, and I will say combos are more important in this game than other games. That's a whole different discussion though. But you can use training mode for a lot more than practicing combos. So I have a couple of things here that could help you both immediately and long term, and hopefully it helps. So first, the one I always like to start with is practicing against Super Dash. So once you get used to it, you don't really need to practice this. But especially if you're not good at hitting Super Dash air, this is a really good thing to practice. So it only really requires 2 recording slots. So I'll show you how I set these kind of things up. I already have it set to random, and you have one slot where they just Super Dash, and you have another slot where they don't Super Dash, just like that. And now it's on random and you just play it. So the normal one I tell people to do is just start by backdashing. This one's pretty easy. Give it to me, 21. There it is. Okay, you start here. And then once you get good at this, you can start floating, super jump, and get used to doing that. This one is a little bit harder because it depends on your character and stuff, but once you get used to it, you can start doing it like that. If you have an air level 3, so I have one on my team, right? So you have an air level 3, this one's super easy. You just buffer the super, so you do like your quarter circle back. I did the slow super like a true professional gamer. You just do quarter circle back until you see them fly at you, and then you do it. One day she'll super dash at me. There it is. So since I'm frame 1 invincible, you just kind of hit it. You can do the same thing with an invincible level 1s. There's way more than Bardock. I know last year when I did this, it was pretty much just Bardock, but now you have like 17, you have Super Broly, there's a few characters who have this. And of course, if you have an air DP, so if you have like Yamcha or Super Saiyan Vegeta or Cooler, you could do it with that as well. And it's frame 1, so you could just kind of like tag it. Now, if you get good at that, and you have a highly mobile character, like I have base Vegeta, you can get used to doing IED back key blast and hitting the Super Dash still. Like this. Trying to get it. Remember, here the key is to see it and then just hit it like that. And if you have a good key blast, you should kind of do this with all characters too. But if you have like a character that zones, and I know like Frieza's pretty popular right now too, you should get used to firing key blasts and hitting a super dash like that. This is a pretty fundamental part of the game though. Like, you know, if you play like Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Saiyan Goku, Base Goku, any character with like a multi-hitting key blast or even like a single key blast, you should get used to doing that. So there's multiple ways you could practice hitting Super Dash, despite Super Dash being such like a fundamental part of the game like that. Okay, so number 2 is the Dragon Rush bot, and I made a video just about this too. It's a little bit different now because now we have the new 5L into Dragon Rush cancel, but I'll show you how to set it up and everything. So first, you have the Dragon Rush cancel on. So why? It's so when you record, you can have the dummy run back immediately because you're going to set the playback method to repeat randomly so that it keeps going. Like, you're not going to have to restart every time like the way I do with Super Dash. From there, you just record what you want. You don't need to do 8 slots. I usually do 8 slots because I could just think of 8 different ways people can try to like trick me up. But for example, you set slot 1. Let's do Super Dash. Not Super Dash. Dragon Rush. Slot 2, we'll do dash jab, Dragon Rush. Oh. Like this. Run back. Number 3, we'll do point blank Dragon Rush. This actually makes it harder. Because you have no Q with the dash. Then the rest we'll set like jab, 2L. We'll do same side Super Dash. We'll add a cross up for good measure. We'll add 2L, 2L, and we'll do the classic 2L delay Dragon Rush, right? And from there, once you have everything set up, you make sure you have it on repeat randomly, very important. Set everything to be on, and then you just let it go. And you practice it for a while. I think it's pretty important, because, oh, this one's kind of bugging. Because, like, Dragon Rush is a pretty big part of the game, and, you know, you only get a couple of chances per game for Dragon Rush to even come up. So, let's say, like, in a normal match, they only get you, like, they only go for it, like, 3 or 4 times a game. When you use a bot, especially depending on how long you do it, like, let's say you do it in an hour, right? So, before the World Tour Finals, the LCQ, right, I was doing this for about an hour a day. I was streaming it too, we made jokes about it, we called it physical training, right? I was doing this for about an hour a day, so we counted one time how many Dragon Rushes came, and it was like 500 to 600 Dragon Rushes in an hour. So really, really quickly, even though you'll start like by struggling a little bit, like after doing it for a while, you'll get like pretty good at it. And honestly, defending against Dragon Rush more than 50% of the time, like I'd say you only get it like 60%, even like 55%. It's way, way, way better in the long term. And of course, as you know, a lot of the good characters, they get really high return off Dragon Rush. Or if you tech wrong, like if you get hit by same size Super Dash, they get a combo all the time. So being able to defend these things will make you feel way more comfortable in the game in general. Now, if you only play online, this might not help you that much because Dragon Rush is like literally unseeable on netplay. But if you like have a way to play offline, this will help you out a lot. And honestly, if you play online too, you will be able to defend some things that you couldn't defend before, even if you can't necessarily see the Dragon Rush. It's definitely worth practicing, especially if you're like really trying to level up your game. But it's not something that's like a short-term boost. Like it's something you have to do a lot to really see the effects. This is the only like bot I use in fighting games, really. Like generally, you know, you don't have to set a robot to do like a bunch of things to defend against, but Dragon Rush is like a special exception. So if you feel like you have problems defending Dragon Rush, definitely try to use this bot. So the last thing I want to talk about is building situations. So this is what I use training mode for the most in fighting games in general. So what I mean by building situations is like, you know, Dragon Ball is a pretty high-paced game, fast game. A lot of things can happen in the game. So if there's something I'm unfamiliar with, I try to take note of it and go back and try to figure out what to do if that situation comes back up. And generally, like when you're starting, it can be kind of hard to identify. And if we're talking about Season 3, like now we have all these new assists, so it's kind of like hard to notice, oh, what should I go back and actually like check overall? But once you start doing that, you'll find that training mode is really, 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 really helpful. So I'm going to share like a couple of really common examples of this, but you can literally apply this to anything. So first we're going to talk about the easy one will be Beam Vanish, right? So let's set to random like this, and we'll use slots 1 and 2. So as you know, beams jail into vanish. So that means if you block a beam and they vanish, then it's airtight. But if you reflect it, then you can punish it. So this is both a what do I do to beat this if I didn't know that beams jailed into vanish like that, and then how do I punish? So if you're like a combo person, you would want to practice this, because what's the best combo you can get off that? For example, I don't have one on deck, but you can do like this. Like, can I touch a death off that? I believe my team can, right? Or what? And then it's just training yourself to only respond when the vanish comes, because a good player should only vanish when they see the beam touch you. Weaker players will vanish no matter what, but you can react to it and do whatever you want. That's a pretty easy one, so let's build a slightly more complex one. One that comes up pretty often, but I don't see people generally take care of. So this revolves around jumping. So we're going to set the CPU to like jump, do nothing, jump, throw Ki Blast at me, and then jump with a Ki Blast. We'll make it do like that. Like this. And then we're going to make it whiff a Ki Blast, and then vanish to cover the whiff. Okay. And we'll set it to random. So, after building, this is pretty common in the game, and this is what most people do about this. Right? So you'll see the whiff, you'll try to punish, right? You see the whiff. Oh, I got pretty lucky there. Generally, when people see this vanish, they try to vanish back. Like this. But the return is pretty low. Like, you technically win, because you did like a little under 10%, but you're not really punishing them. But what high level players tend to do is they just let the whiff go, and they wait for the vanish. Because when the opponent is falling, you have the advantage. So you can sit there, wait comfortably until they land on the ground, and then hit a button when they land on the ground. But if they vanish early, then you 2H them. Like that. And this is really big because 2H, obviously, really big return. They buffed 2H as a starter because it's cinematic, so you're going to get like 60 to 70%, depending on how much resources you have available, whatever. Maybe a touch of death. And then your opponent will be way more scared to move like that. Vanish is kind of a cover for mistakes, right? And you don't generally get big punishes because people vanish to vanish. So in a case like in the corner, like if they vanish in the corner like this, and let's just quickly like that, and you vanish their vanish, like, okay, you know, you keep the corner, so you get to keep your turn, but mid-screen, you send them full screen, so being able to get the big punish with 2H and just being okay with giving up to other situations is kind of a big thing. But you'd have to build out that situation to understand that. Hopefully that all made sense. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.